So the first unpopular opinion is living with less makes your life less complicated. I think most of you already know that living with less can make your life less complicated because you own less things. You know that you don't need everything that's advertised to you, especially when it comes to social media, and every person we watch these days is either sponsored or has some type of product to show you. When it comes to living with less, knowing that what you have is all you need works out so well. A little example, I thought I needed a cold pressed juicer for the longest time. I've been making my own green juice from our old $40 blender. I learned how to work with what I had, not even just green juice, any juice in general, without a professional juicer, and just working with what I have for the blender. And sure enough, I figured it out. All I really needed was like a strainer, and it does take a little bit longer than an actual juicer, but I didn't need to spend $500 to $800 on a juicer. I can just make it work with what we have. So that is just one example of like living with less, working with what you have. I feel like this is just so unpopular. I feel like these days it is more popular to live with a lot and have this maximalist lifestyle because things are supposed to make you happy, which is not true at all. The average human does not need a lot to live a comfortable, happy lifestyle. Let's just put that out there. Knowing the value of a dollar. Self-explanatory, but a very unpopular opinion where people tend to forget this one. I feel like we live in such weird times where when things are so-called cheap, we feel like we're saving money. Most of the time when it comes to cheap items, whether they're from these random apps like Temu, Shein, Wish, all of those apps are crap, you guys. The unpaid wages, like they don't treat their workers well at all. That's a whole other situation. I've talked about this before. Secondly, half their crap ends up in the landfill because it's not made properly, so it breaks fairly easy. And thirdly, when things are cheap, people have this, like, something goes off in our brains that we can afford more or we can get more because it's cheap. So it's like that scarcity mentality where it's like, well, I have $20, every item is $1, so I'm gonna buy 20 things because I can. Knowing the value of $1 can help out so many people. It can help out this entire world if you really think of it. I know it's like drastic to say, but if everybody was taught the value of $1, I doubt half of the world would have like credit card debt, like bad debt. Obviously with a house, that's good debt. I feel like that's good debt because it's kind of an investment. But with credit cards, we tend to buy things we do not need. And even when it comes to credit cards, like store credit cards, do not get those. I'm gonna do a whole separate video on credit cards and my story with them and what I've seen with family members. So stay tuned for that. Yeah, just know the value of $1. Learn the value of $1. I wish they would teach this in school. I wish they would teach it through elementary all the way to high school because it could be so beneficial for society. I guess this is something that we all have to learn on our own. What helped me a lot learning the value of $1 was doing like this weird math. I know this is gonna sound crazy, but if I made $5 an hour and a shirt that I wanted was $30, even though knowing damn well I have shirts at home, but I want that shirt because everybody has it, I would have to work 6 hours to get that shirt. Like, is it worth me working my butt off for 6 hours just to have one shirt? Probably not, because it's probably not made of the best quality. It's probably in style, so when it's out of style, I'm probably not gonna wanna wear it. Little scenarios like this, I feel like can help kids a lot when they're our age. Just, you know, a little unpopular opinion that should be popular. Processed food may be easy, but it's not food. This is something where I did not realize for a very, very long time. I would say just recently, like a year ago, we started to eat very clean. For the longest time, I was eating processed food, and I want to put this out there. Every now and then, it's fine, but I was eating processed food every meal. Meatless meats, a vegan pizza, like every meal, and that stuff is just not healthy. Even though it says vegan, like I feel like that's such a misconception. Some people think like just because it says vegan, that means it's super healthy. No, they still have a bunch of crap in it, just as much as the other processed food does. Natural flavors, red 1, blue 7, I don't know, all these random chemicals that are extremely harmful for your gut. It's just something I didn't want to continue anymore. And I'm still educating myself till this day, teaching myself and giving myself grace when it comes to food. I'm having a whole new learning with food. So I know it's gonna take time for me to really get it like down pat, because I'm still learning it. There's a lot to learn when it comes to healthy foods. We started off like, all right, let's no more frozen vegan meals. If we're gonna have stuff frozen, it's going to be vegetables, frozen broccoli, frozen cauliflower, no preservatives, no added ingredients, just the actual vegetable. That's it. I know this is not for everybody, but I personally have seen family members and myself, when it comes to processed food, get addicted to it. And especially when it comes to McDonald's, Burger King, there are so many other healthier ways to make these foods, to make them at home. I know in the US, like, we have one of the most worst food diets in the world. Our diet in the US is considered deadly. More than half of our food is banned in other countries because of how bad it is. So I hope one day that we all wake up and realize that processed food, like just the word processed, what is it processed with? Why does it need to be processed? Just the word itself, it's right there in front of us. It's like, don't eat me. So anyways, this is another unpopular opinion that should be popular. We should really focus on our health, because at the end of the day, that's the one thing that's keeping us all alive, is our health. Health is wealth. I know that sounds so corny, and I remember other people telling me this, but it's so true. When you're healthy, the amount of things you can do is just amazing compared to when you're not healthy. And I've had my very unhealthy years, unhealthy days. I'm still trying to lose all of this weight from years of eating processed food, sugar cravings, things like that. So I still have a long way to go, but I'm glad that I'm learning. I'm snapping out of the processed food and focusing more on whole foods. Paying your bills first before having fun. Again, self-explanatory, but this is one that's overlooked all the time. I've had family members till this day that believe in having fun over paying your bills because you only have one life to live. What if you die tomorrow? I've heard it all. I don't focus on the negative anymore. I am that person that pays the bills, and then if we have money left over, we either will put it towards our joint account, or if our budget has some wiggle room, or we'll go for a walk, maybe play some mini golf, things like that. I'm not saying never to have fun, but I'm so grateful that my partner and I agree on this, is that bills come first. That is your biggest priority. Rent, electricity, gas bill, mortgage, fixing the roof on your house, like all of that stuff is more important than going to the club, then spending money on a bunch of alcohol, then spending money on cigarettes, then spending money on a bunch of clothes when you already have a closet filled with clothes. Paying your bills first is more important. And it took me so long to learn this, you guys. Like, looking back at my younger self, I wish I could give her a hug because she was so lost. And I remember like the one year that I got myself, like, my life situated, I lived with my mom until I was 26 and a half years old. I was almost 27. I was like 2 months shy of my 27th birthday. And that 1 year of me adopting a minimalist lifestyle, switching my mindset, I was able to save 14 grand. If I would have switched my mindset a long time ago, I would have had more money saved. I would have been able to do more things, have less car problems. Like, the car problems I had were on me because I didn't prioritize that first. I prioritize going to the club, buying a nice dress, looking hot, going tanning. And I know we live and we learn, but there are so many things that you can, like, so many struggles that you can bypass by just paying your bills first. Asking for help is a sign of strength, not weakness. This is something that, again, I wish someone would have told me when I was a kid in elementary school, in middle school, and in high school, and even as an adult. I am that type of person to never ask for help. My partner always tells me, he's like, do you want help? You didn't ask me if you wanted help. And I'm like, oh no, it's okay. Because I grew up with family members telling me that like if you ask for help, it's considered weak. You need to figure it out on your own. The backlash I would get when I used to ask for help. So then I stopped asking. And now with me being in my 30s, I ask for help. I want to mention like there's help out there too when it comes to like if you're having financial problems with you can't buy food, like you can't afford food for your family, you can't afford like your electric bill, like there's programs out there, like you can ask for help that way too. So I truly believe nowadays asking for help is a sign of strength and not weakness. You don't need to have everything figured out at a certain age. This is something I wish that we all could understand, because even till this day I'm like, oh, I'm making this much money at this age, I'm doing this at this age, like this is so embarrassing. And I have to like check myself from time to time thinking like, wait, what? I don't know about anywhere else, but in the US, we judge each other a lot when it comes to what do you do for work, where do you live, and that all ties into your age. Especially for us women, I feel like we get a lot of crap. With me being 33, I get a lot of crap for not having it figured out yet when it comes to kids, not having it figured out yet when it comes to my career. And these days, I really don't care. I'm just doing what's best for me, and I feel like those other things will come one day. I don't necessarily feel like, oh, just because I'm 33, I need to hurry up and think about what should I do for kids, this, and this. I feel like we tie a lot of things to our age, and we need to stop. I think once when we all realize we do not need to have it all or have everything accomplished by a certain age, things will get better, or things will not just get better, but things will be less stressful, less depressing. And I truly thought too when I was younger, like I truly thought like, oh, when I'm in my 30s, I'll have everything figured out. Yeah, no, it does not go that way. And even though I'm finding myself a lot more in my 30s, I still have a long way to go with learning, and I'm looking forward to learning more. I'm not rushing anything at all. I honestly, like, even though I get a lot of hate from family members where it's like, Kira, you're already 33, like, you need to, like, figure something out. You're getting older. We're all getting older. It's not just me, you too. Like, I'm not in a rush like I was before. I'm not in a rush. I am just going day by day. The one question I hate the most is, where do you see yourself in 5 to 10 years? I don't know. I'm not Raven Baxter. I cannot look into the future. I don't know. But what I know right now is I see myself making dinner later on, maybe something healthy, a nice veggie soup, maybe taking a shower later on, washing this oil out of my hair, and doing a nice to-do list for tomorrow. That's what I see. So I've learned to calm down, and you should too. If you feel like you are behind or you feel like you don't have everything figured out at your age, everyone moves at their own pace. And this is something that I needed to learn over and over again and through so many hard lessons. And the last unpopular opinion that should be popular is being debt-free is far more valuable than having the latest gadgets or a fancy car. Being debt-free, I mean, it's right there in the wording. It's freeing. It is so freeing. The minute I got rid of my student loan debt, the minute I paid it off, I felt like I could breathe better. I felt very light, and till this day, I am not in any type of debt. I try my best to pay my credit card on time. I pay everything on time. I try my best to make sure we're ahead with bills. I do want to emphasize that, like, I know it's impossible to, like, pay your house off. Like, houses are very expensive. But I do think houses are investments. They're not bad debt. It's kind of like paying rent, but it's yours. Take the house thing out of it. What I'm talking about when it comes to debt is credit card debt, student loan debt, car loan debt. Like those things, like, oh my goodness, I remember when I had a car payment. I'm never going back to that. I don't care if I have to ride a bicycle. I am never going back to car payments, because I remember feeling like it was never going to end. And I remember feeling like, the minute that I noticed, like, wait, I bought the car for 10 grand, but they're charging me 15 because they're charging me like all these random fees. Things that I could have avoided if I was to just save the 10 grand. Try your best, you guys, to become debt free. It is such an amazing feeling. I'm always trying to tell my mom this. I'm always trying to embed it in her head. Mom, instead of like spending money on yard sales or this and that, like focus on paying your debts. Your debt is what's adding a huge burden to your life. I hope one day it sticks. I know I sound very naggy, but the minute someone realizes or the minute someone pays off their debt, they'll be like, okay, so this is what she was talking about. On that note, you guys, I hope you enjoyed. Let me know down below what is your unpopular opinion that should be popular these days.